I have more or less been eating the same breakfast for around 5 years now. I make an omelet of chopped up broccoli, white onions. I like to use a carton of egg whites, and it's just because I don't like the taste of a cooked yolk. It's a personal thing. And I add a little bit of cheese for saltiness. I am also obsessed with kimchi radish. I eat it in every single meal, so I'll put that on top with a little bit of Kewpie mayonnaise and ta-da. The thing is, breakfast. As we know, because this is episode 5 in the breakfast series, there are tons of amazing breakfast options from all around the world. Today we are going to explore 5 more interesting breakfasts from 5 countries. Buckle up, because some of the dishes today are very interesting. After all these years, I am still not sick of it. Let's go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Louis. I live in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, although I am originally from Quebec. And the breakfast dish that I wish to bring to you all is Galette de sarrasin ou saucisse, which roughly translates to buckwheat crepe sausage. The breakfast dish is a breakfast pork sausage that is wrapped with a thin, crispy buckwheat crepe that you dip in molasses. It's a very rich, comforting dish, and I absolutely love how the molasses sweetness pairs with the savoriness of the buckwheat and the pork sausage. It obviously works very, very well with a good coffee in the morning. It's not something I've seen outside of Quebec much, and I've lived in a few provinces now, although I'm sure that the origins are probably from France and or England. To me, the molasses and the richness of the dish and just how everything works together just brings me back to Quebec. And it's something that I love to share with my partner because buckwheat is gluten-free. I really hope you all have a chance to try it. It's not too hard to make. It's absolutely amazing to eat. And I can't wait to see everybody else's. Thank you very much. Buon appétit.
If you saw the last breakfast episode, you will know that eating sausages on camera now has elicited in me a bit of anxiety.
You kind of suck the sausage out of its casing.
I'm just gonna suck it out of the casing. This, however, I think is about to redeem everything. Look at that little sausage in a blanket. Ooh. Wake me up for this. Literally, wake me up with this. This is the best type of hot dog breakfast sausage sandwich I have ever had in my life. I love this. I was really nervous to make the galette because I have made a galette once prior in my pancake episode and I really struggled. But what a difference time and practice makes, because these all turned out pretty good and they taste really good. I had to let the batter rest for 1 hour. I think that was a very vital part of this. If you make it, definitely let your batter rest. I ate all the sausage out, there's just galette left. That's okay. My only piece of advice if you're gonna make this is definitely don't try to make the galette with the spoon method. Use the motion of your shoulders and gravity to make it swirl around. That is how I was able to be successful. But definitely try making this because it is a delight. Before we get to the next dish, I would like to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service. And today I'm gonna be making one of their brunch dishes, a croque madame. This is a breakfast episode after all. What I love about HelloFresh is that they have tons of amazing recipes that really help take the stress out of meal planning. Every week, there are over 50 different recipes to choose from. And within that, you can find quick and simple recipes that take just 15 minutes to make. There are vegetarian options and dishes that allow you to explore different cultures and cooking methods from around the world. The instructions are really easy to follow, so no matter what cooking level you're at, you will make something absolutely delicious and beautiful. One thing that I really appreciate is that everything is pre-portioned, which means less waste, and it just makes cooking a lot faster. This dish came together really quickly. It looks amazing. Let's try it. Wow, wow, wow. This is definitely something I would have ordered at a restaurant. That is decadent. One of the things that I love so much about HelloFresh is that they take recipes that might seem really intimidating and they do break them down in such a way that, like, first time's a charm, and I made a croque madame at home, and that's pretty cool. Wow. Whoa. Wow. I keep saying wow. Wow. If you're interested in trying out HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com, use my code BERYL16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. Okay, I'm gonna finish eating this while I make the next breakfast dish.
My name is Sangeetha and I'm from Chennai in Tamil Nadu, India. I'm super excited to share with you today South India's most famous breakfast, one that I grew up eating a lot, idlis. Idlis are steamed rice cakes. It's rice and lentil, urad dal, both soaked, ground, fermented and steamed as cakes. It's usually paired with many different types of chutneys or sambar or gunpowder. Idlis are truly an ancient breakfast. It dates right back to the 10th century. We have a rich history of growing many different thousands of varieties of rice. And most of our food revolves around rice and fermentation. A plate of idlis along with chutney and sambar is a full meal in itself. We live in hot weather right through the year, and a plate of fermented food like idlis is super light on the stomach, easy to digest and great for the gut. Idlis are truly an embodiment of the food culture of South India. You would find them in every street corner. Every restaurant features them in their breakfast menu. But at home, we make our own idli batter. My fondest memories of idli are watching my grandmother clean rice and lentil and grind idli batter at least twice a week. Now, the same batter is used to make dosas, but I like the idlis better because they are soft, fluffy, and they absorb the flavors of the sambar or the chutney just like a sponge. As a child, when we went out with the family on picnics or long train rides, we would pack idlis along with gunpowder and oil, wrap them up in banana leaves and carry them along with us because they would stay fresh for a really long time. Please do try making idlis. The batter is readily available in many Indian grocery stores, and even if you don't have the traditional idli plate, you can use a shallow vessel or cups greased to make your idlis at home in a steamer. I hope you enjoy idlis as much as we do here in South India.
All right, I'm doing like a little bit of a gunpowder and ghee dip. Oh yeah, that's really good. I mean, I'm eating ghee, so there's not much to complain about there. We've got some sambar here with a little bit of zucchini. My mother-in-law gifted me this idli maker, and it's definitely been something that I've taken advantage of. I feel like a good idli is kind of like a medium firmness pillow. You know, not one of those where you put your head in and just like sinks all the way down to the mattress, and not one where you're like, oh my God, what a great pillow. Like a medium pillow. I don't. Of course, many people make idli and sambar from scratch. You know, grind the rice, grind the lentils, ferment it. You can also just buy the pack of the batter, where all you have to do is add a little bit of water and a little bit of yogurt and like Bob's your uncle. That's the route that I took. The brand MTR is the one that I really like. I use that actually for both the sambar and the idli. I'm gonna leave a link in the description if you wanna try to buy it online. I'm also going to leave a link for one of the idli molds that you put in an Instapot. Now I would like to say something serious. So, I read a lot of recipes online, like the best way to make Instapot idli and you'll definitely not mess it up. And I'll tell you what, I've messed it up almost every time. It didn't work. Also, it's not enough water. For the Indians in the audience who don't necessarily have to follow their melon hearts, but can follow like, you know, tradition and culture, if you have any tips, please leave them in the comments because, you know, like when you mess them up, like they're just bad and you have to toss them. So any tips would be welcome. Whew, that was a lot of talking. Yum. The gunpowder that I'm using is actually made by one of you all. She's a subscriber and she and her mom make a set of poties and she sent me this one, so I was really excited to be able to use it in the video. I'm leaving a link in the description. She has tons of interesting South Indian spice blends and I just love that she and her mom make them together. It's really special.
Hi Beryl. Hi everyone. My name is Florek and I live in Warsaw, Poland. The breakfast dish I want to share with you today is Maczka. Maczka is a creamy, savory dish made with only 3 ingredients: an egg, milk and flour. You should also add some salt to taste and top it with freshly cracked black pepper. It's thick and light in color. It's also really simple and quick to make. I don't really like eggs, but I absolutely love Maczka. It has a very delicate, eggy, salty flavor, but I can't really compare it to anything I've ever eaten. It is hearty and filling and keeps you going for a long time. You don't use utensils to eat it. Instead, grab a couple of slices of sourdough bread and dig in. I don't think Maczka is a common dish in Poland. I actually tried to Google it once, but nothing came up. It was introduced to my family by my grandfather, who probably learned about it in his childhood when he was living in the Silesian district. That's Śląsk in Polish. I don't know the full origin of it, but it was essentially poor people's food with how cheap and accessible the ingredients were in Polish villages. Maczka was my favorite breakfast food growing up. When I was little, I used to spend 2 full months of the summer break at my grandparents' house in the Bieszczady Mountains. Every morning I would wake up to a mug full of hot cocoa, and then it was Maczka time. And I'm telling you, every single day, until I grew bored of it, I would eat Maczka for breakfast. I think you should try Maczka because it is something very simple and quick to make, yet so delicious. It is amazing by itself, but I'm sure you could use it as a canvas to create something incredible. So give it a go.
This might be one of the most mysterious meals I have ever made on this channel. Truly, you cannot Google it. You know, Florek even said, you cannot Google it. I think though that just because a dish does not exist on Google does not mean that it doesn't exist. And I think to Florek's point, this is an older dish that is a bit of more of a struggle meal. So it's really trying to utilize ingredients in a way to maximize them, not necessarily in a way to be like in Bon Appetit magazine. All right, here we go. That is interesting. It looks like mashed potatoes, it looks like grits, right? So there's a part of me that has an expectation when I eat it. But then when I eat it, it doesn't really taste like anything other than texture and the butter on top. It's very creamy, very silky, very dough-like, but not like dough. The black pepper and the butter on top are really going a long way because I think without it, it would just be texture. I mean, look, this is a meal that is glue in your stomach, you know what I mean? Like, it will fill you up and kind of stick to you. So if you need to make ingredients go a long way, this is one egg and some flour and milk, and there's a big plate of food on here, Those 3 ingredients are definitely working overtime to make a full meal. Is this like a culinary achievement? Like, there's a million things that I would add to it, but that's not the point of this meal. The point of it is to be limited. If I was going to add a couple things to this though, definitely cheese. Like, I want this to be cheesy inside and like mozzarella cheese inside, yeah? Probably a fried egg on top, just 1 more egg. Hot sauce, I feel like I want some heat, but I also feel like maybe it's not fair for me to do that because that's not what this dish is, right? Considering that Florek said that this was a dish from their grandparent, and you can think back in Poland, like 2 generations prior, things were tough. And this meal makes a lot of sense. And I think that the idea of struggle meals is a really interesting concept because you can see how people and cultures around the world have made do with what little they had and kind of created their own little bit of enjoyment. I feel like this dish really just shows the ingenuity and creativity of people and what you can do with food when you don't have that much.
Hi everyone, Salam Alaikum. My name is Miriam and I'm from the United Arab Emirates. And the dish I'd like to share with you today is called Balaleet. Balaleet is a sweet and savory breakfast dish that's enjoyed by Emiratis as well as many people in the surrounding Gulf countries. Now the dish consists of a base of vermicelli noodles that are fried before being boiled and sweetened with cardamom powder, saffron, sugar and rose water. And finally, it's topped with an egg omelet to enjoy. Now, as you can see, this dish is not the most nutritious meal, but the reason for this is that Bedouins back in the day needed a recipe they knew that was easy to make and would give them energy in the harsh environment of the desert. Now, while this is classified as a breakfast dish, many people also enjoy it for dessert, and you can have it either warm or cold, but either way, the best way to have it is with some chai karak, which is a spiced milk tea. As someone who doesn't have that big of a sweet tooth, I personally like having this for dessert, and I like that the egg cuts out the sweetness of the noodles. Now, I love this dish because it's very nostalgic to me. It reminds me of family gatherings in Ramadan and Eid, as well as spending time in my grandma's house. And I think with most fried foods in general, people associate the comforting textures and flavors of the foods with memories that bring them joy. And I think people should try this recipe because I think it combines all the best qualities of a good dish. It's delicious, it's comforting, and most importantly, it's easy to make. Now, I hope you guys give this dish a try, and I look forward to hearing what you think of it. Thank you.
I like that this breakfast can swing both ways as a dessert or as the way to start the day. It's a very interesting combination to me. That's quirky. It's really interesting because you've got this really strong flavor of cardamom and sugar on the vermicelli noodles, which is great. Then you have this like peppered omelet. The savory and sweet together, it does work. It's just a little confusing. I like both of these elements individually, 100%. Like the vermicelli with the cardamom and the sugar, that little bit of saffron, yum. This is delicious. Also, a beautiful, peppered omelet, delicious. It's a good meal. It's just a little quirky. I wonder if maybe the omelet was instead like scrambled in with the noodles. It would be a little different. I think it's because the egg is like so pronounced as an omelet, and then the cardamom sugar noodles are so cardamomy sugary and noodly that the balance of them is a little off. It's weird, but I'm like, I just keep going for more though at the same time. Do I like this a lot? I'm torn. I might actually really love this at this point. Here's what I would say. Try it. Give it 5 bites and then make your decision. Because I think that the Beryl, when she took her first bite, is not the Beryl that you see in front of you. Okay, I'm just coming back in here to say I've decided I liked it because I continued eating it off of camera. Okay, next dish.
Hi, my name is Thien and I am from Vietnam. Currently, I'm living in Texas right now. And the dish that I want to talk about is Hủ Tiếu Nam Vang, or Phnom Penh rice noodle. And it is widely eaten as breakfast in the south of Vietnam. And this dish is actually a Cambodian Chinese influence. Hủ Tiếu is the thin rice noodle that we eat. It is paired with a pork bone broth and a bunch of different toppings with tons of garnish. It came from the Cambodian Chinese culture with a twist from the southern Vietnamese culture, so the flavor profile would be on the savory, sweet side. I love it because of the contrast between the simple umami broth and the complexity of the toppings. Even though everything is slightly seasoned, it is so flavorful. And Hủ Tiếu Nam Vang is very, very common in the south. It's like a specialty. Hủ Tiếu reminds me of mornings that I rode my bike to school and then gathered with my friends around the vendor and enjoy a cheap student-priced Hủ Tiếu while checking or copying each other's homework before class start. So it's a very, very delicious and nostalgic dish to me, and I highly recommend Hủ Tiếu Nam Vang because it is so easy to eat, and I hope everyone can enjoy and feel the warmth and fulfilling of the Vietnamese breakfast. Thank you.
I am not gonna lie, I was incredibly intimidated to make this dish. I delayed for over a week because I was like, oh, I don't know. I delayed so much that the bean sprouts and the Chinese celery that I had got died and had to be repurchased. But having now made it, it's so beautiful. It's also the type of breakfast that I would love to have, but it would just required a lot. So I probably won't make this on the reg. I'm excited to try. Ooh, spoon was the wrong choice. Back up. Okay. Whoa. This is a dish for the senses. Ooh, that red chili. I love a soup that is just a smorgasbord of options. Smorgasbord? Smorgasbord? There's a plethora of options. quail egg. A fun little lesson that I learned was when I made kwek kwek on the channel, I boiled and then hand peeled all of the quail eggs. You can just buy them in a can. You live, you learn, and then you buy canned quail eggs for the next round. One of the things that I would like to talk to you all about was the soup base for this. It is a pork bone broth base, and to make it, according to the YouTube videos I watched, was painstakingly long and an arduous journey that I was like, there has got to be a better way. So we searched and found a powdered soup base for this soup. I ordered it online, saved the day. And I think that there's, a distinct group of people when we're talking about stocks who are like, no, you have to make it by hand. You gotta spend the time in the kitchen. The love is an ingredient. For me, powder is the ingredient. Or out of the carton, I think blindfolded. Would I really be able to tell the difference between the chicken stock that my mom, spends hours making or the chicken stock that I buy from the supermarket? I don't know. I don't think I would be able to tell. And I also think that it just doesn't matter that much to me. What matters is the effort and time that I'm spending making a dish. Do I want to spend 4 hours in the kitchen or do I want to spend 30 minutes? I want to spend 30 minutes. Yeah. As far as how this soup tastes, it is super meaty and umami, a saltiness going on. A lot of the ingredients themselves don't have too much flavor, so the broth really is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but the broth tastes so nice. I'm going to leave a link to the powdered stock that I bought online. There are also options to have a vegetable base if you want to make this vegetarian, using tofu, etc. There's a lot of leftovers from this, and I was saying, okay, I have this can of quail egg salad. I have all these noodles. I'm gonna make some summer rolls. I have some leftover shrimps. I feel like this soup also is offering me a lot of other meals, which is pretty cool. Talk about the difference of the type of breakfast that I typically cook for myself and this. If I could make this for myself more often, I absolutely would. It was just a lot of work. With this dish, that marks the end of my backlog of breakfast video submissions, and I would personally like to do more. Maybe you would too. If you are interested in submitting a recipe, email me what the dish would be and where you are from. I'm leaving my email in the description and it's right here on the screen. BerylShereshewsky@gmail.com rolls right off the tongue. I probably should have thought about it differently. It's too late. That's the email address. All of the recipes are, of course, in the description with links to things that might make it easier for you to make it yourself. And I am leaving 2 other episodes in this breakfast series for you all to watch. I will see you in my next video. Bye.